Hey everyone, Dante here, bringing you a guide for the final puzzle challenge in Resident Evil Requiem. There are 4 steps to this. First step is to get the Marie doll. Kind of complicated setup, but we'll get there. Step 2 is going to be completing the game if it is your first playthrough. There are reports that if you are doing this on your second and third playthrough, you won't have to worry about it as much. Part 3 is to scan the hand, which you get after you escape the basement, to learn the puzzle if you don't know it, or to activate the puzzle's activation upstairs in one of the researcher's rooms. And then step 4 is to have Emily and the doll when you're inputting that code in the lead researcher's room prompt. But first, let's get into the Marie doll. Alright, so the first step to getting the Marie doll is in the basement, where you have to wait for roughly 115 bodies to fall into this kind of like blood-soaked water. Even though it's 115, I have done it to where it will still not prompt the correct response later on, even with 115. So it's better if you just wait 15 minutes, so that way you can make sure that as many bodies that needs to fall in there will fall in there. It's less so like an exact number that you need and more so just a minimum number that you need. But as you can see here, I've sped this up. It takes a long time. This footage you're seeing is about, I don't know, I think like 8 minutes or so, just sped up fully through. But anyway, after you get the 15 minutes, or really the whatever the number minimum actually is that properly counts, you're going to go ahead and activate the wheel there, so that way you can get into the grinder. Now, a very big thing about being in the grinder, as you see on the screen, you've got to make sure that you do not kill a single one of the zombies yourself, and that all of them end up going into the grinder before it stops. I don't know how many there are. I think there's about 8 to 10, I think. And on easier difficulties, like I think it's casual difficulty, shooting them in the head will have them stunned long enough to where they'll probably end up in the grinder anyway. But if you want to really guarantee, you can always just push them down. On higher difficulties, namely Insanity, which I think is the difficulty I'm doing this on, maybe? This might also be standard modern. The zombies get up really quick, and so whenever you stun them, you need to kind of like wait a little bit longer before you push them, so that way they stay on the ground just long enough. Now, if some of the zombies grab you and you have to use your knife, don't worry, at the very end of the sequence, you can actually get your knife out of the grinder. So if you ever need to do that, do not fret. Now, by the time that message shows up, you should have all of the zombies in the grinder, if not already really close. So this section here alone accounts for 2 of the 3 checks that you need to get the Marie doll. As I mentioned, the 115-ish zombies, it's probably more than that, it probably just doesn't count right. The second is all the zombies in the grinder, and that's because of this. Now, whenever you come down into this little blood-soaked pool here, you're going to get one of 3 messages. There's really 4 states where one just doesn't say anything when you pull this lever. But the first one here is a lot of blood will flow out. If you get this, you're not going to get the Marie doll no matter what you've done. So you'll need to reload the checkpoint prior to this. And try again. I recommend before trying this that you make a save before you spin the wheel, for obvious reasons. Now, the second one is a ton of blood will flow out. This is good if you have not flushed the toilet upstairs 8 times. If you have done that, then a ton of blood is not a good thing, but it is good otherwise if you have not done it. Lastly, and this is the best one, a torrent of blood flowed out. This is the best outcome because that means that you have done both of the checks for the grinder section and you've flushed the 8 toilets. This is the best outcome. It means you've unlocked all 3 of the checks to get the Marie doll later on. Now we have proceeded on past the basement.
Hey, Emily.
And in this, you're going to see me go to the toilet to flush it 8 times because I did not do it in this playthrough. I had to do a different playthrough to get the torrent of blood message to show up, just to show that that is a message that can show up.
It's not
So in this, I got a ton of blood, has flowed out, and so now I'm on my way into the West Wing to flush the 8 toilets.
That's good.
Or flush the toilet 8 times, I should say. It doesn't matter what toilet you flush. It's only important that you flush it a minimum of 8 times. Now, while this is going on, I have seen reports that people are saying you shouldn't kill a single zombie after you finish the grinder section because it like messes with the flags for the Marie doll. This is not true, as far as I can tell, because there is a section later on, not in this video, but I did test myself, where while in Victor's basement area that you'll see here in a little bit with all the zombies that turn eventually into blister heads as well whenever the vat is detonating and blowing up. I, on insanity difficulty, did this. I did the cutscene or the scene that you're about to see on insanity, so like I'm taking a lot of damage. I then restarted to load up the checkpoint and tried it again, killing everything, and it still gave me the doll. So the only important part that you do not kill anything yourself is that grinder section. They all have to die by the grinder. Now, as I said, we're here in this underground laboratory, and it says on the screen what I had already said. If I wouldn't have done it first, you would see me killing all the stuff here because I take a lot of damage. I don't know why I wanted to do this on my insanity run of all places, but it can be done on any difficulty. Alright, now this next section is the important part. This is where the Marie doll is going to be.
Oh, shit.
You're going to keep going along the proper path. Wait for this little cutscene to happen where the blood flows out of this center contraption here. And right before you get to the staircase, the Marie doll will be sitting there. If all 3 of your checks were good. Now, at this point, your goal is to just beat the game if it is your first playthrough. If, however, it is not your first playthrough, I've seen people say that if you just reload a previous checkpoint to where you're still in the care center but after the basement, the Marie doll will also still count there. I did not personally test this, but for posterity's sake, I would say complete the game. If you do try to reload and it isn't there, sorry, but that's why you also make these saves, just in case. As you can see, I beat the game there, insanity, 5.5 hours. Now, we're back into the care center after the basement, after we made sure to complete the game with the Marie doll. It doesn't matter if the Marie doll's in your inventory or in the box whenever you beat the game, so long as you collected the doll. Now we're going to grab the severed hand, and we're going to head to the little safe room here, and make sure to grab the Marie doll. Assuming it's in there, of course. The other important step to this is to also make sure to take Emily with you. Once you make sure you have everything that you need to go to one of the 2 microscope lasers and scan the hand. You'll then be prompted to solve the node puzzles, similar to whenever you're doing the specimens. But this one's super easy. It's just essentially a straight line of the 3 nodes that you need to activate. The one to the very far left, one in the middle, and the one to the very far right, assuming you don't rotate. All right, that code at the bottom, kind of important if you want to know the lore behind how the code for the activation thing that we're about to actually go interact with. Sorry, I'm doing this live, so no script. But if you don't care about, the whole lore behind it, which I'm not going to include in this video, if you do want the lore behind it, I can always make another video to explain it. I do have the footage for all of it. But at this point, once you have the hand scan, you have that Let's Play appear on screen, you're going to loop back around to go upstairs in the west, or sorry, this is the East Wing. In the East Wing to the lead researcher's office. If you don't remember which one that one is, that's the one that is near the level 1 keycard, where Chunk is. And also, I had to take the long way because there was a blister hanging out in the hallway there. So once you get up here, you're going to activate, or you're going to notice there's a new activation prompt on the puzzle here, the little puzzle set that we did before. And the combination is going to be sun, sun, star, so left, left, right, sun, moon, star, so left, middle, right, sun, moon, sun, so left, middle, left, and moon, star, moon, which is middle, right, middle. Once that happens, you'll hear this laugh. Assuming you have both Emily and the doll, you'll get the challenge complete. Congrats.